What is going on, you guys? I'm talking to you today about rumors, hints, things that we might see, future of cool stuff in our games, with a little bit of emphasis on Super Star Destroyer, but other cool things that hopefully we'll see soon. So, a new Destiny article came out today. There's a lot of Ghost-based crew, Rebels stuff for this new expansion for Destiny, which is very cool if you're playing Destiny, but this card actually caught my attention. I wonder if you can guess why. Because you've got Super Star Destroyer in orbit. There's actually two if you look closely. And at first glance, I saw this and I said, oh my gosh, where did they have this art done? Because this must mean, like, if they have this art done, then it's probably going to be used in other places. And I was thinking this is probably just a little hint that a Super Star Destroyer is coming. Granted, it can totally be a hint. But before we jump too far into it, it is based off of another image that's already out there. And this image has actually been out there for a while, so this isn't actually a brand new commissioned art piece. So it's not necessarily something that means that it's coming in the future. However, if you've played FFG games for a while, you have probably seen time and time again where something will come and it will have art that gets featured in the future. Usually this has been the case in X-Wing, where a lot of times in X-Wing you'll see something in the background of a card that hints at something that's coming out in like either the next wave or the wave thereafter. This has happened a number of times, but it's not always the case. So while it's fun to speculate, this isn't proof of anything. But not being proof is kind of boring. Let's go into speculation because the hype factor is fun, and that's why we're here. So what could this mean? First off, this could mean that, it could be a subtle little hint that Super Star Destroyers are coming, because they didn't necessarily have to go with this image, although it is a really cool image, and it does represent planetary bombardment. So, all right, I can't fault them there. But the fact that there's two Super Star Destroyers here is actually really cool, because it means that it's not just the Executor. That means there could be a generic, like you could have Super Star Destroyer versus Super Star Destroyer, or maybe even some build where you have multiple Super Star Destroyers. I don't know if that's even possible, but maybe if you have like super epic play or just playing casually. But the point is that a Super Star Destroyer doesn't necessarily, or at least an Executor class Super Star Destroyer doesn't have to be unique. We already know there are multiple types of Executor class Super Star Destroyers. You have the Executor itself. You have the Ravager from the books, the one that's that on Jakku. You have the Annihilator, which Pyrus had taken over in the books. And those are just three named ones from recent new canon entries from the books. It's not like there's only three. There's certainly more than three. Plus, you have other Super Star Destroyers like the Eclipse, which we still haven't seen the new version of the Eclipse. I can't wait to actually see that make a canon appearance. I'm hoping we see it in Star Wars Resistance, which would be really, really cool. But basically, this could be seen as a slight little hint, a little sprinkling of a hint for Armada players. Doesn't necessarily mean that this was coming. We do know that something big is coming for Armada. It could be any number of things. I could speculate for days and days. I've got lots of different theories, and we'll probably have to do that at some point because I need to do another speculation for what I think Wave 8 might be. But I've just had a lot of discussions about that lately. And I think one of the latest things, well, while we're on the topic, I think one of the latest things I think we might end up seeing is combat flotillas, or more flotillas coming. Since they reduced flotillas to 2, I think that might be one of the reasons. Looking at the Dornian gunship on like Wikipedia, for example, it's showing it being at about the same size as a GR-75 in length. So that means it's actually much smaller than it appeared to be in Rogue One. So rather than being a small ship, Dornian gunship could be a flotilla. Might be some type of combat flotilla that if you were to spam it might get out of control. We also might see some kind of, maybe Piet, if he comes out on here. What would Piet's ability be? I can imagine Piet being like the Akbar for the Imperials, but concentrating on forward firepower, since one of his most notable lines is intensify forward firepower. That would fit in perfectly with Piet if he comes with this. If that happens, now your Gozantis become a combat flotilla, especially your red dice Gozantis. Let's just say he was like Akbar and you get 2 extra dice when attacking from a front arc, right? If that's the case, it'd have to have some restriction, like you also couldn't do any other attacks or something like that. If that's the case, then that would make Gozantis crazy, right? Because that would mean your red dice Gozanti is going to throw out 3 red dice at long range. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, especially if you've got a Simoon in there and you've got Intensify Firepower. You get some mitigation on those red dice. Forget about it. It's crazy. I got Lando in the background here, so if you hear some toy talking, that's him. He's excited about this too. That being said, if the Imperials got another flotilla, I think it might be that listening ship that we saw in Star Wars Rebels. It's basically another type of a Gazanti, but it didn't appear to be that heavily armed, so it could be like that, the GR-75 equivalent, where it's much less armed but performs more of a support function, probably also much cheaper, and this might be why A, we got cheaper flotillas, B, we haven't seen Piet yet, C, we're seeing the spoiler artwork, and I don't know what D is, but anyway, you get the point. There's a whole lot of little things that if we're trying to piece everything together, that could spell a hint for Wave 8. I'm still hoping for the Venator for Wave 8. I think that's definitely, or the Carrion Spike. I'm not really excited about a listening ship because I still would rather take a Gazanti, unless it's really, really cheap. But, maybe they'll do something exciting with it. That's just basically getting like a zero combat dice GR-75 equivalent for the Empire doesn't excite me and doesn't make a year's worth of no news worth it. You know what I'm saying? So at least Thrawn was worth the wait. Radis was worth the wait. They're game-changing, meta-breaking stuff. That's awesome. That being said, there's also some new things coming and then maybe next year that are going to potentially give us more stuff into Armada, provided that the game stays strong and healthy, which I believe it will. Lately, Armada has really picked up here in Orlando. We've been having our regular tournaments, and we've been having more and more people. It used to be we struggled to get 4, and then we were starting to get 6, but now we've been having around 10. So it's growing and it's doing great, and that's really exciting. We also have the Jedi Fallen Order coming from EA, but Respawn Entertainment, so they have a better track record. So this is coming out at some point next year. Not a lot is known about this game, but we do know it's going to take place between Episodes 3 and Episodes 4. You're going to play as a Jedi. You can have a lightsaber. It's not going to be out for a long, long time, though, but these are the guys that brought you, your giant mech game where you're, I'm not really a big console gamer. Titanfall, the guys that brought you Titanfall. Granted, I played Titanfall a little bit. I played Titanfall 2 a little bit. I had a free trial of it on the Origin thing. Okay, it's kind of cool. Not, wasn't blown away. Nothing super, super amazing for me. But again, I have very weird video game tastes. All in all, I'm really excited about a game where you can get a lightsaber, especially as the main character. I'm hoping that it has single-player functionality, like a story mode. It sounds really, really cool. Also, a while back, they had done some motion capture stuff, so this wasn't initially advertised as being for Fallen Order, but it looks like this might be a hero, or maybe multiple heroes, this is another close-up of whoever this guy is, who's maybe, might look like him in the game. Maybe they give him an alien face. Who knows? Maybe because of the hat, maybe he's going to have some kind of Leiku or something like that. And there's the guy he's fighting. So, very, very cool looking villain. I imagine a villain in this game would be Inquisitors. So maybe you'll fight a lot of Inquisitors. So that might not be the villain's face. But the cool thing about having a game that's coming out in between 3 and 4, and I think it's going to be earlier in after 3, when there's still more Jedi left, is that you have a whole bunch of options of getting, early, late, Venators, things like that, or early Imperial stuff. Maybe we'll see a victory on screen. We haven't seen any new recent victory stuff, so I'd love to see some different takes on the Victory Star Destroyer. I'd like to see some more stuff that's been used early in the Empire. Hopefully we'll see dreadnoughts or the support ship that but maybe we'll see some of that. Maybe we'll see some more of Thrawn potentially. I don't think they'll really do that. I think one of the things, since this is also EA, they may borrow certain characters from Inferno Squad, so you may see Iden Versio's father as maybe a lieutenant or something like that in his earlier days. They may drop some little nods here and there, but either way, the way that they're doing these new video games through EA now, though, is they're making them canon. So Inferno Squad is canon now. You're going to see Iden Versio. I'm pretty sure it's already been dropped that she is in X-Wing, or maybe she's not in X-Wing 2nd Edition, but if she's not, she probably will be. I'm having a little bit of a lapse here. I'm probably getting her confused with one of the other new X-Wing TIE Fighter pilots. Either way, all of that stuff is eligible because it's new, it's canon. the video game stuff is canon, so anything they put in this game is going to be really exciting. Can fit into multiple different games, can fit into X-Wing, can fit into Armada. If they're heroes and villains and stuff, they can totally fit into Legion. They can fit into games like Destiny. They can fit into standalone board games as well. So there's a whole lot of options, but ultimately, this is the one that got me excited. That they're just, you know, more. Anytime they tease a Super Star Destroyer, I get excited. So very happy to see this. Maybe it's nothing, but we're so far without news. I just got really excited about this. Wanted to talk to you guys about some of my, you know, upcoming expectations for Armada, and, you know, again, the Fallen Order stuff isn't going to be until next year, so that's not going to be for a while. But you know, you always get a lot of cool news when there's E3. I think, you know, by this time next year, we'll have a lot more to look at as far as Jedi Fallen Order. Hopefully by this time next year, we will have been testing our, you know, playing with Super Star Destroyers for a couple months already and be ready for like Wave 9 or Wave 10, but we'll see. All right, well, thank you guys again so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe, click that bell for alerts. I've got a new giveaway coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. And the only thing you need to do to enter to get involved in these giveaways to have a chance to win is become a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. So, again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.